So we have the radiators, and the next step will be inserting a heat source and connecting it with the radiators using pipes. So to do that, I have to choose from the heat sources tab, for example, a hanging boiler. And now when I come closer to a wall, it rotated appropriately. Let's move it a little bit and let's insert it here. We can zoom in using Ctrl-W shortcut. Now the cursor has changed and we can select the window that we wish to observe, holding the left mouse key. And after that you see that program still is in the inserting mode and enables us inserting another boiler. If we don't want to insert any more boilers, we can press, for example, escape key, and now program is again in the selection mode. We can achieve the same using the speed button. So now we are not inserting anything anymore, we can select. We can select and, for example, move appropriately the boiler. For the heat source, we have to enter some information in the table beneath. We may enter the symbol, however the symbol is optional, it's not obligatory, but we have to enter the pressure drop, for example in the form of zeta coefficient, let's say zeta 4, and volume, let's say 15 liters. And that's all what we need for a heat source. Now we've got the radiators and the heat source, so this is the time to connect the heat source with the radiators using pipes. But before we do that, let me tell you a few words about drawing pipes. So I would use the space beside our building as a temporary space to draw pipes. To draw pipes, we have to first switch into Pipes tab. And then there are some methods. First method is to draw pipe, supplying pipe separately and return separately. In this case, it's very efficient to draw while this function is on. This function means that we draw in fact a chain of pipes or a broken line. It means that when we've got the corner, when we click here, is the end of the previous segment and at the same time is the beginning of the next segment. So we spend a lot of time because we would need more or less half of the clicks necessary in comparison with this function off. And then we would draw somehow return pipe separate. But it's faster to draw a pair of pipes immediately. We have to select the distance between the pipe, the spacing, for example 10 centimeters. And when we draw a pair of pipes, then it's a question where the supply pipe would be located and return one. So let's have a look. If I draw from the left to the right, then the supply pipe is below in our drawing. Why is that? Because the basic principle is that the supply pipe is located on the right hand side from the drawing direction perspective. So if we draw to the right, it means that the right hand side is beneath. When we draw from the right to the left, then the supply pipe is higher in the drawing because now this is the right hand side. I hope that by now you can guess what would be the location if I draw from bottom upwards. Yes, indeed. Now the supply pipe is on the right because this is around right hand side. And when we draw downwards, then I hope you're not surprised that now the supply pipe is on the left from the drawing perspective, because when we are drawing downwards, that was our right hand side. And this is the basic principle, the standard one, but if you wish, you can change it. If we go to drawing properties, and here we've got the option draw supply pipe on double pipes, and by default is on the right side of drawing direction, but we can select also left side of drawing direction, or as some people prefer, on the right side of the drawing. It means that the supply pipe will be always on the right side of drawing. It doesn't matter whether we draw it upwards or downwards or to the right or to the left. It means that it will be supply pipe will be always on the right, or it would be higher in case of horizontal drawing. So let me here leave this standard option. So now, as we have learned how to draw pipes, let's draw the pipes in our building. So I would use this function to draw immediately a pair of pipes with the distance of 10 centimeters. And while drawing pipes, especially long pipes, it's useful, or in fact necessary very often, to change the scale, because sometimes you need to see the whole building or a big part of it. But in this case, you won't be able to precisely locate the beginnings or ends of segments, so you have to zoom in. And there are several ways to do that. One of them is to use the roller on the mouse, so you can zoom in and zoom out, but that would mean lots of rolling. So in this case, it's much more efficient to use the function that is called dynamic zoom. It works like that, that when we observe the whole drawing, and now if I press and hold the spacebar, as long as I hold the spacebar, the scale is much higher and I can see the small part of the drawing but much bigger. And now I can locate the beginning of the pipe or the pair of pipes in this case precisely. Now I can click the left mouse button, and as you see, I established the beginning. Now I'm going to release the space button. And when I release the space button, I can see the whole drawing again. So now I can move the cursor of the mouse more or less to the region where I intend to put the end of this segment. Now I'm going to press and hold the space bar again. And when the location is okay, I can click the left mouse button. And now I can release the space bar again. And in a similar way, I can proceed and continue. And as you see, in this way, you can draw pipes pretty fast and very precisely. I'm not going to continue this chain of pipes, so I can press now the right mouse button, and the right mouse button finish this chain of pipes. Now let's connect the boiler. So let's zoom in here a little bit, and now we can draw the pipes from boiler to pipes here. Now again the right mouse button, and as you see, the pipes were connected appropriately. These squares show the connection points. That means that these pipes are considered as connected. So as you see, these are the pipes, but we don't have the connections yet. The connections to radiators. The heat source is connected, but not the radiators. So now this is the time to connect the pipes to the radiators. You can do it either manually or automatically. Let me show you first the manual way to do that. So I will connect just one radiator. So let's zoom in so you can see it better. And now I just select the tool for the pair of pipes and I just draw it. Now the mouse button and escape. So as you see, the return pipe was connected correctly. I had to correct a little bit the supply pipe, and now the connection was established. As you see, these new segments are connected to the previous pipes, and also you can see the white circles that show the connection to the radiator, and you can also see the blue and red circle. This means that here we have a vertical segment of pipe that is necessary to connect the pipe under floor with the radiator that is over the floor level. We can check it on the axonometrical projection. So as you see, this radiator has been connected and automatically, fully automatically, these vertical segments were added. So that was the manual way. It wasn't very long, but if you have lots of radiators, that would take you some time. So luckily we've got also the second method, the automatic connection. To apply this function, we have to go first to Radiators tab, and this second button with lightning, this is for connecting, for automatic connecting radiators. It works in a little bit similar way like the first lightning, so inserting radiators under windows. We have to select, in this case, all the radiators that we wish to have connected. Very often we can easily press just Ctrl-A shortcut. We have selected everything because we are in the system mode, so we selected all the elements of the system, but it's not the problem. For this function it's also only important which radiators have been selected. And now if I press the second lightning, all the radiators that haven't been previously connected, now they were just with one click, they were connected automatically. And if we open again the axonometric projection, you can see that all the pipes have been connected to all the radiators. So far, all the horizontal pipes are on the same level. And that is very often the fact that majority of the pipes are on the same level, however, not necessarily all of them. So now let me show you how to change the level of the pipe. Let's say that we wish to have these two pipes close to the heat source on the level, let's say 1 meter over the surface of the floor. So I can select with the Shift key these two pipes, and as you see in the table beneath, we've got two columns, the level of the beginning and the level of the end. So now let's enter this 1, it means 1 meter over the surface of the floor. And especially if you have more pipes, it's useful to use this copying technique known from Excel, that if you move the cursor to the right bottom corner of the cell frame, and now you can hold the mouse key and drag it. And especially if you have more pipes, you can copy in this way very efficiently. It's enough to enter only the beginning level, because the program assumes then that these pipes are horizontal and the level of the end is the same as the level of the beginning. Even if the pipes are slightly not horizontal, we still may consider them as horizontal. And now, if you go back to the axonometric projection, you can see that these pipes have been moved, and also new vertical segments have been added. Because if the program sees that there are two pipes that are connected on the plan view, but they are on different level, so to have this real connection in 3D, so the water can flow, we need also the vertical segment. And the program adds these vertical segments automatically. On the plan view, they are marked with this red and blue circles, and you can also see them here in the axonometric projection.